Stephen, I guess it's technically a game week for y'all. What has preparation been like, and what are y'all looking to see on Wednesday?
Yeah, so this morning was really the first time we as the coaches got together and watched Oklahoma State. So got together at 7 this morning and we went over personnel, teaching points, and just some of the actions. We were able to exchange probably 20 minutes of game film or practice film with Oklahoma State. So we sent them 20 minutes of some stuff that we've done with officials. They sent us 20 minutes of stuff that they've done with officials. So got a better feel for, the guys they have. I mean, they returned 2 guys from last year similar to us, and they have a whole brand new roster. So a lot of new faces you got to look at, and, just trying to compare some of the actions that they were doing at this point last year to what they were doing in their scrimmage, a couple days ago. So got eyes on them this morning, and today at practice, we'll obviously go through their stuff, and we'll show the guys film for the first time of Oklahoma State, and we'll kind of treat it like a 2-day prep, and get ready for Wednesday.
What are the biggest things that you're looking for from your guys in this scrimmage?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is who can retain some of the bits and pieces of what we're doing on the scouting report. I think is always important. Which guys are really locked into the personnel segment, who can pick up on tendencies of what they're doing. But, more importantly, just, how guys are going to handle playing in front of 3,000, 3,500 people, and their families are going to be at this game. So it's always interesting to see if people change in those environments. And we try and tell our guys that, you can't treat it any different than you've treated practice these last couple of months. Who can handle a little bit of adversity, right? They're gonna go on some runs, and they shoot the ball really well. They're really big and physical on the inside, so it's gonna test some of our toughness, some of our physicality, and see who kind of rises up to the occasion. It's always good to kind of see who does that. Part of it too is looking at different lineups, who plays well together, who doesn't play well together. So just get a better feel for that, a better understanding. See which guys start well as opposed to finish well, right? So there's just a lot of things in your first game that you kind of lock into, in game that will help us, moving forward.
The last couple of weeks, getting Mac back, Abdul's getting healthier, Murph's getting healthier. You said you wanted to play 9 or 10 guys this season. Just you feel like you're going to be able to do that early, just with guys getting healthy again?
Yeah, no, it's been nice. Practice for like 2 weeks ago was looking pretty grim because we only had like 7 or 8 guys that were actually able to participate in practice. So, having 11 of our 12 guys available as of today, now obviously we still have 2 days leading up to the game, is great because, when you're missing your two of your 5 men, it obviously changes the dynamic of what you're trying to do. So it's great to have those guys healthy right now and get those guys getting their reps and getting more comfortable in what we're doing. So we just got to continue to try and stay that way and continue to build. But, obviously it was good to be able to experience that a little bit in the preseason to kind of get other guys playing different positions and being comfortable, playing some small ball and stuff like that. So happy that those guys are back and excited to see what they're able to bring on Wednesday.
Can you talk about Blake and just what he brings, especially with Simon out right now, having another guy at the 2?
No, I mean, Blake's one of our best on-ball defenders, so it's going to be really hard, to not play him because he's one of the few guys that can keep his man in front. He's one of the few guys that can keep Todd Pettiford in front of him. You know what I mean? So, Blake's able to consistently knock down an open 3. Like, he's going to find himself on the floor just because of what he brings to our team defensively and the unselfishness that he brings when he's out there. So, really proud of Blake and the strides that he's made for us so far.
What does it mean to have Charles be an advocate for this program?
I mean, not just this program, but this university. He's the greatest ambassador in the history of Auburn University, Auburn athletics, Auburn basketball. So for him to be so proud through thick and thin of this university, just speaks to the character of him and who he is and really what Auburn represents. So there couldn't be a better person to do it. And now, it's like a 2-headed monster. You have him and BP doing it at the same time. So there really couldn't be a better time for Auburn to have 2 of the greatest, ambassadors in the history of the university out there doing the same thing at the same time.
Stephen, with so many new guys, how valuable is this experience to play an exhibition game, just to go on the road and just to have this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put in words how important it's going to be for us. And I think the timing of it is what I've continued to talk about. It's just why it's so important, because we're going to have 2 weeks to kind of break down the film of what we did well, what we didn't do well, how we worked in certain situations. There's just going to be so much teaching that we're going to be able to get out of this one game that, I think it's really going to help us, and it's going to pay a ton of dividends, obviously, moving into the season with our challenging schedule. So the timing couldn't be any better. So we're obviously really excited to kind of see what we got.
For Birmingham TV, how important is it to be visible there? Charles is from there. Austin Wiley, it's a big basketball place.
Yeah, no, I mean the state itself is really just like bloomed as far as like a basketball state. I think if you look at college basketball as a whole, Alabama might have the most success in state as far as all the different levels of Division I basketball. When you look at Jacksonville State, Alabama, Auburn, Troy, Samford, Alabama State being in the NCAA tournament last year. I know I'm missing a few. North Alabama, right? Unbelievable. You know, South Alabama has always had a competitive program. Like, it's unbelievably impressive, like how much the state has grown as a basketball state. And so for us to be able to play at the Boutwell, you know, to be able to play Houston, right, in Birmingham, we're going to play in Huntsville next year. So it's really important for us to get out in the state and play in different locations so our fans that aren't able to get a ticket in Neville are able to see us in other places throughout the state.